Hey, welcome back. I enjoyed doing that digital artist website or example page a couple of days ago. And I want to do another one, but this time it's going to be less animated videos and just straight up images. And again, just showing you another way of how you can display things. Nothing groundbreaking, but it's just I love to explore digital art and lots of lovely images. Now, Saint Max from Deviant Art, he has given me his permission to use their artwork, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. By the way, I'm Imran Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow all the amazing things we do with Elementor and WordPress to help you, your clients, and of course your businesses. So we're going to be using Elementor Pro with Hello. Now, some of the features we're using here won't really matter whether you're doing Elementor Free or Elementor Pro, except some of the gallery, especially with the masonry effects and things like that. However, there's loads of tools out there for you to use. So what we're going to do is I've taken some images from Saint Max's DeviantArt page after getting permission from them, and DeviantArt is a great place to go if you want to get some bespoke custom artwork, digital art, created with our fingertips and our hands and our feet and whatever else we use. Now, once you've got those images, make sure you compress them, make sure you optimize them, preferably to WebP format for next generation images. And I just want to very quickly mention bulksizephotos.com. bulkresize.photos.com, sorry. You drop your images in here. You can drop 40 images in one go. You're not restricted to just 5, 10 or 20. You drop them in and it will convert them to WebP. So I've got 11 images from St. Max's website. 11 images. They came as a JPEG, total of just over 10 megabytes. Resizephotos.com, bulkresizephotos.com, compressed it down to 300 kilobytes for 11 images. Average that out, that's less than 30 kilobytes per image. That's really, really good when you start to think about loading lots of images. Right, so we've got those images in. Let's now go ahead and create the website. So here's the images that we've got over there. We're just going to create a blank page. So we've got a blank page. It's an Elementor canvas because I'm hiding the header and footer because this is an example test site that I use for these videos. And I've hidden the title as well. Okay, so it's blank page. I'm not going to bother with adding in a logo or anything like that. No, I tell you what, let's just do it. Hey, look, I make this up as I go along, don't I? Let's just click to add a new section. And we're going to add in 2 columns for one section. Okay, so the section is your house. The columns are your rooms within. The content within the columns will be your furniture. So we've added in 2 columns. I'm going to make this a dark black background. So I've clicked on the section, clicked the grid, gone to style, and I'm going to set the color for this to just be black. Okay, we're just going to go for a straight up black color. I'm going to go to the layout of this section. I'm going to make it full width with no gap for the columns, and the height is going to be a minimum height of 0. I will control how big it looks with padding within there. Now, I'm not going to do a logo, but I'm just going to very quickly add some text in, and I'm going to call this text Saint Max. Okay, that's it. Nothing more to that. I'm going to leave it as a left align, go to style, set it to be a white font. I'm going to do the font though, and I'm going to go for Orbitron. I really like Orbitron. Not a lot of people like it, but I just love it. Okay, Orbitron, REM for the size. I'm going to go with a 3 and shrink it down to be about 2.5. Okay, and I'm going to give it some spacing of about 3 maybe. Yeah, we'll go with about 3. There we go. A bit of spacing in the letters. Always use EM or REM, I recommend, for your fonts, okay? Images, use pixels. For anything where you got text, use EM or REM. Trust me, it will help you later when you come to responsive mode on different screen sizes, okay? Trust me on this, there are videos about this I've done earlier as well. I'm not going to add any shadow, and I'm not going to add any blend mode. Now, at the moment, that is very tight when I preview it up against the borders of the section, because we have no gap in there. So let's go back into that logo or the heading. Or in fact, not the heading, sorry. Go to the section, go to advanced. I'm going to 0 the margin. I'm going to 0 the padding. And now I'm going to say 5 from the top, 5 from the right, and 5 from the bottom. In fact, 5. I've gone with 5, 5, 5. Okay. It's still a bit tight, so I might want to play around with that. And I might click the link button and instead hit 10. So I just wanted to show you how you could do it individually. Or you click the link button and you just hit the number once and does it all in one go for you. All right, I'm just going to drag this margin over. And over here, I'm going to add in a menu, which will be anchors to take you to different parts of the page. And we'll do that right at the end. So I'm not going to bother putting the menu in just yet. Let's move on to the next section. Now, it's always good to have a hero banner, because hero banners kind of a way you're now putting across, what is this website about? Why have you come here? Who is Saint Max? Is Saint Max going to help me with my religion? Are they going to help get me some holy water? No, he's a digital artist who can do amazing stuff in your face, on your paper. Before we move on to the next section, let's just check the mobile mode on here. So let's just go to responsive mode and let's just check that out. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want to check the section here. So even though I've messed it around, so 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, I'm now just going to modify this a little bit more and say, I don't mind 10 at the top, but I'm going to have 15 on the left and 15 on the right. Because I find that on mobiles, having a little bit more of extra padding on the left and right hand side just makes it breathe a little more, rather than being up against the side of the border, which is a bit too tight for my liking. Right, let's go back to desktop mode, and I'm now going to duplicate the section above. I'm going to get rid of the header logo that we've created there, and I'm just going to click, in fact I'm going to get rid of that column as well, and I'm now going to just duplicate or even add new columns, so I now have 3 columns. The good thing about doing this is that it has the settings that we originally had in the section above. So in terms of the full width, the minimum height, all of that, it's all set up for us. And that's kind of a good way to go. Do it good once, then you just kind of duplicate and modify the content within. It's easy. It's what I'm trying to tell you to do. Okay, one thing we would bear in mind, though, is that this does mean, though, that the contents are going to be full width. So this is where I might change it now to be a box, and we'll probably go for about 1,000. Will be fine there. Okay, so 1,000 width. You can see what's happening here now. When you have your content, they won't be fully up against the borders of your pages. Let's add in some content. Now, for the very first one over here, I might add in some text. Over here, I'm going to add in an image. And over here, I might add in another image, but this time it's going to be like a scrollable image, like a parallax almost effect. So I'm just going to have a think about what I'm going to do here. So in this column here, I'm going to go to Style, go to Background, Type, and rather than add in a color or a gradient, I'm going to go here and I'm going to pick this image. This one here. Now at the moment, you can't really see the image, and that's because there's no content. You've got to put something in here, but I'm not going to add in a spacer or any words at the moment to make that bigger until I know exactly what I'm doing over here. So I'm now just going to copy this text and drop it over here. Why? Because it's already got the Orbitron in there for me. Because now I just go into Style, go to Typography, and I'm going to drop this down to be about A2, just slightly smaller there. So I've added in some text, and at the moment, Freelance Illustrator is going over onto 2 lines. So this is where now I make a choice. I added in 3 columns. What if I get rid of this column here and go back to having 2? And now my words can spread out a bit more, and I can increase this one as well. I'm just showing you how, on the fly, you can start with 3, go down to 2, go down to 1, delete them all, go to 5, go to 6. You can do a lot of things flexibly with Elementor. It's dead simple. And this is not a demo. This is real time. Except you're watching a YouTube video, so it's not real time anymore. My God, you're a time traveler. You're looking into the past or the future, whichever way you want to think about it. So we've got some text here at the moment. Still, our image within here has not expanded at the moment because I'm still having to think about what are we presenting here. Now I'm going to go over to this text and I'm going to shrink this now to be about 1.8. I'm making it slightly smaller, 1.8. I'm going to go to the line height. I'm going to increase that just to make it breathe a little bit more in terms of spacing. We'll go for about 1.5 there. In terms of letter spacing, I'm going to leave it as 3. In fact, I'm going to shrink it down to about 2.2. 2. There we go. Go with 2. So it's slightly different than the header logo that we got, but it's the same kind of font family we got at the moment. Now let's go over to this column where we have the image, because I didn't drop an image in. If I dropped an image in, we'd see the full image. I've dropped it in as a column. So if I go over here to the position, I'm going to set it to be a center. I'm going to say the attachment is fixed. What does that mean? The fixed mean that it's fixed. Okay, people think scroll means scrolling. No, scroll means that as you scroll up and down the page, the image goes in tune. If you do fixed though, as you scroll, the image will stay fixed. So it might disappear behind the scenery or the foreground or whatever else you've got on there. It's a really cool feature when you make it work. In terms of repeat, I don't want it to repeat. I don't want that tiled effect. Oh, that's so 1999 when anyone does a tiled effect. And in terms of size, I might go for cover. No, let's go with contain. Let's just see how it looks, okay? Because it might look horrendously bad, so we've got to have a think about this, okay? So I'm now going to go to my widgets that are available, and I'm going to drop in a spacer. And I'm going to increase this spacer to be like so. Let's go with about 600. And can you see there, the image has now expanded up. I'm just going to shrink myself. I'm going to drink a little bit of fluid and there I am, I'm down here, hello. Right, so we've shrunken down, but what's now happened is the image at the moment is kind of, it's that way a bit too much. So let's click on the column, okay, and it's because I had contain, sorry, it's because I've got contain. Let me put it back onto cover. There we go, it should have been on cover on the first place. The resolution of the images is not top notch because St. Max on his DeviantArt website, he has not put full-blown high-resolution images. He's only put certain resolutions, so we are slightly restricted, and that's why I've gone to contain, because the quality is a little bit better. Normally, good resolution images, when you use them on a website, you will get that resolution. If the image is like that big, and you stick it on a website, and then you try and make it look that big, you're going to get some pixelation occurring, so have a think about that. Now, in the position center, if I go center right, it moves over. But I could have done custom as well. So rather than it I could have said, right, I want it to look something like that. For instance, even, you won't notice this line, because look, when you remove that, it's like that. So have a play with what you want to go with. So if I go for about 700, I think 700 will do it. And I now view this here like that on the preview, that's better. Okay, I'm now getting the image kind of in a much nicer way there. A slight problem with it though is it's just words and image. It's not looking fantastically amazing right now, is it? So we've got to do something a little different. I'm going to go to the section. I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to say that the column position is top. It all goes to the top. See what I'm doing there? I'm now going to go to advanced for this section. I'm going to unlink it, so everything is still 10, 10, 10. And from the top, I'm now going to go with about 60. So what I've done is I'm creating this space. Look what happens. Everything moves down, okay? So I did 60. Everything moved down 60 pixels. We might as well give about 60 pixels to the bottom as well. We've got our text. We've got our image over there. It's looking a little bit barren at the moment, isn't it? Can I make this image pop a little bit? Well, this is where now... so in fact, I need to just show you what's going to happen here as I scroll up and down. Can you see that? That is what the fixed approach is. As you scroll up and down, the image is staying static almost there. Okay, now we could make this image pop a little bit more. If it was an image, sorry, not a background, we could have done a background overlay and layouts like that, but I'm going to leave that as it is. We're going to go here now, and we're going to drop in a image below the text like that. Okay. And I'm going to pick in another image. So let me go for, let's go with this one. So it's something a little bit different, but it kind of just shows off his style and how he likes to operate. So we now have another image, square image, keeping with the theme of the square look. You know, if you start to do rounded corners, you're going to have to do rounded corners on all of them. Otherwise it will look out of place. This at the moment is a little bit too close to this one here. We could click on the column and we could increase the minimum widget space between them, or we could leave it default as 20, click on the image, go to advanced, 0 the margin and padding, and then just increase the top margin. So I'm going to go with about 30, just to create some space there. Okay, the problem is though, is that now we have this kind of space down here, and it's now looking a little bit barren again. And this is where you might now want to increase either the spacing. I'm just kind of showing you how you can start to think about placements here. So we go with 50 there. And when I go to this, whoopsie daisy, I just deleted it. we go to the text, we go back to typography, and now we increase the line height. So this is why I shrunk it. Okay, sorry, I should tell you, I've pre-planned things for you in advance. So now we shrink it down. So now we have our text and we have an image over there. But to the right, this image is now looking a little bit too big, but we put a spacer in there. That spacer was 600 pixels. Well, let's just shrink it down then to be about there. I think that's about it. And you can always play around and test it out. So now we have our image, and we have an image there, a bigger image there, and we got some wordings. What we don't have is a call to action, like contact me. And I would say definitely do that, okay? So what you would do is you'd probably have like a button here maybe, or you might, instead of putting it there, put the button down here below, and then you know, mess around with your spacing as well, get everything in line and all of that. I'm not doing a button, but you could do, and this button could then link into a form. So I could type in contact. So if I've got a the city, there's a page called the city, it's going to go to the city page or whatever, okay? Or you could do a menu anchor, which I'll show you towards later on, and it takes you to a form which is on the page somewhere else. But for now, I'm just going to get rid of that, just so we have this layout. So what does this look like now on the page? Okay, right, so now I've got to explain something I have not done. The image is there, the text is there, the image is there, but everything is now banged up against one another. The reason for that is because that is the edge of the borders, the split between the both columns. I'm going to have to go over to this column, okay? I'm going to go to advanced, 0, 0, the margin and padding, and I'm going to say this column starts, okay, I'm going to go with 50 from column 1, okay? So column 2 starts 50 pixels to the left. It goes that way, like that, away from column 1. So if we now view this, we now have pick 50. That's looking a little bit too close, I still think, because of the huge spacing we have here. So I'm just going to increase this to be about 70. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can work with that. So we're still within the realms of the 1000 pixel boxed width that we created, right? It won't go beyond that unless we let it go beyond that. And there we have our text, image, blah, 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 blah. Now what happens when I scroll up and down? Nothing, because I haven't got anything to scroll up and down with, but we'll come back to that in a moment. How does this look, though, on the mobile? Very, very important you take note of this, okay? Don't just go, yeah, I'm okay with that, and move on. Take note of what's happening with your mobile view. So here we can now see we've got our header logo at the top. We've got our text coming in. The text now does look a little bit big. So responsive mode, go back to your typography. This is now for the mobile, okay? Put it on REM, and I would say maybe make it 1.5. In fact, I would say we want to get Freelance Illustrator on one line. There we go, 1.4. That works for me. We then have our image. Now, this image, okay, is okay where it is, but we then have this column image down here, okay? And if I go to this this column, it's completely hidden because of the fact it's been positioned so many pixels to the right. I think it was to the right. If I go to style, we are now on mobile settings. If I put this to be center, there's the image. And now it looks a completely different size, okay? And you do have to play around with this. We're going to leave it as fixed. It's no repeat. And we're going to say, is this a contain or is this going to be a cover? So can you see what happens now when I do cover? It now we can now see the image in a lot more bigger, stylish, in its full glory almost, okay? I'm going to click on the column and I'm now going to get rid of that 0, 70 away from column 1. Because in the mobile, column 2 is below column 1. So instead now I'm going to add in some spacing above. In fact, I didn't want to do that. Make sure you've unlinked, put it back to 0. Make sure you've unlinked and then do 50 from the top. So we have image 1 and then we got image 2 coming in. The spacer that we currently have for this at the moment was 500 whatever 67 for the desktop. We can shrink it to be for the mobile. So I could go with something like that if I so want. So we now don't have a huge big image, okay? And what you could also do is I could click on the section, go to responsive and say reverse the columns on the mobile. So now you get this effect going on. So now I'll click back on the column. I'll say make 20 from the top. And this column, right, 0, 0, 0, resetting everything, I'll do 50 from the column, the next column above. So you got to get your head around this, okay? This is now the mobile view. Let's put it on 378. And for anyone that's still struggling, you take your time and work through it. So this is how it looks on the mobile. St. Max, that image, text, and then you get that image. But on the desktop, it looks like that. So it's like this, like, whoa, quantum physics mechanics going on here, people. You can reorganize things to work for you differently. Don't just think, well, my text was first, therefore my text must be first all the time. No, you can rearrange things. And I could even go here. I could literally click on, sorry, let me get to setting, edit. I could click on this image, go to responsive for that image, and say hide it on the mobile. So on the mobile, that image is not there anymore, but it is still going to be there on the desktop. Okay, so let's just put it back onto mobile mode. Let's just go over to this image. It grays it out. It doesn't fully delete it away. It just hides it away. So it's now, there you go, it's back into action. So I'm now kind of happy with that at the moment. I just want to very quickly check the settings again. There's 15 from there, 15 from there. Cool. I'm okay with that. That works for me. Let's now add in another section, which all I'm going to do is duplicate the section below. And can we now see what's happening with the image? Can you see as you scroll, that image almost stays in place? Okay. Whereas this image here, it's fixed to the screen, but the column image kind of parallax moving around. Right, so now we're just going to get rid of the content here. By the way, I'm not doing a full-blown heavy-duty website here. I'm just trying to show you a different way of presenting things, okay? In fact, yeah, we're going to get rid of this image, okay? And we're going to get rid of this column as well. So we're back to one column, okay? I'm now going to add in a counter. So we're going to grab the counter option. If I just type in counter, there we go. Let's drop that in. So we've got a counter. It's where it counts as you go to the page. We're going to go to style, set this to be a white font. In fact, because we're doing a one-page website, I am going to say that we're not doing menu anchors. It's in my other video that I did a couple of days ago. Please go and watch it if you want to use menu anchors and how you jump, you know, how you click it. And rather than taking to another page, it goes down the page, okay, to another section. Really, really cool if you want to do that. But I'm just going to show you something completely different here, and I'm going to put some stats in here. So for the content, it starts at 0 and it's going to go to 241, and I'm going to end it with a K, so 241K, and I'm going to say the title is page views, okay, and you can update this as time goes on, to be honest. We're going to go to style. I've already made it white. We're going to go to the title. I'm also going to make this to be Orbitron. Megatron. That's probably why I like it. I'm a big Transformers fan, by the way. If you couldn't tell already. There's Optimus Prime. Can't even get my finger on him. I've had that since 1990. I will not let my son touch it. Even though he does. He ignores me all the time. Right, so 241 page views, right? I'm now going to duplicate this and add in another value. Right, okay, that's fine. I'm now going to click that column and go, well, right click and go add new column. Just so I can start to shrink this up a little bit like so. I'm also going to go to this column and I'm going to say in terms of advanced, 000 everything. The right hand side, okay, I am going to say, I'm going to say about 60. All right, so it's creating 60 pixels spacing from the column next door to it, because I don't want them to be too close. Now over here, I'm going to drop in a gallery, okay? We're going to go for gallery like this. We could go for basic, but I prefer to use the gallery where you have the masonry or the justified effect. Let's now add in loads of images. Okay, so we're going to add in image. Sometimes you have to put your finger on shift or command to make sure you pick them up. We're going to go with image, 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 image. In fact, we won't do that one because we've already done it. Image, yeah, there you go, and then we'll add it right at the end, so you get it, but it's not like going to be the first one you see, right? So we now click create new gallery, and we insert the gallery. So there's your images coming through. Nice and lovely, okay? That's the default way of viewing it. We can change how many columns there are, 3, 2, 1, whatever. We'll leave it as 3 for now. If we go for layout to be justified, justified is okay. But I actually prefer the masonry effect. Okay, you might go, well, it's not that different, but masonry just looks a little bit nicer in my opinion, okay? We've got lazy load on, and when you click on any of the images, it will go to the media file like that, okay? So it's just a nice little funky way of showing things, and I am now going to just check how this looks on the mobile, okay? So let's go to mobile. You got your image, you got your text, you got an invert image, then you get this gallery, okay? So let me now click on this section, go back to advanced, and let me undo the reverse, because we copied the section above, it still had the reverse in. So now we're going to get this. You get all of these numbers counting up, then we have this column. Let's go to advanced, and let's just give it some spacing before you get this. Let's go with 50. 50, I think 50 is about right. And then you're going to get all these images. Now, at the moment, it's one column. So if I click on the gallery and go to columns, this is just for the mobile now. Look at that, 2. You can go with 3 as well. I mean, 3 isn't too bad actually on the mobile. Because to see it now, you're going to have to click it to see it. So it's now kind of a bit of a funky way of doing this gallery. So how does this look? So this is a very basic video, by the way, okay? Because I just wanted to use the artwork and show how we can create stuff. So there we have our images. The counter, obviously. And we have the logo. Now, this logo is not going to be moving as in terms of how we set the other ones unless we put a motion effect in. But we're not bothering with that here. And if we go to the desktop, well, look, I mean, look, the image is kind of stuck behind time. And we could do that so many more. We could do it in so many different places. And then we have our images here as well. And I think like this person's artwork, I just love the creativity. I mean, this is one of my favorites he's got with Yoda. This is just, wow, I love Star Wars. This is just super, super stuff. Love it. And that, in its simplicity, was a really, really simple digital artist portfolio website. You can do so much more. You could have had a bit more about an about section. You could have had 2 galleries. You have one gallery like that here. You have another gallery like that over. Let me get my fingers right. So you got one that's on this side of the page. Let me get my fingers right. There's one here on the right-hand side, which you can see now. Further down, you could have had another one, which was down here, but it's now moved over to this side of the page. And you could alternate them, kind of thing, So have a play, have fun with your creativity. And I know I talk a lot, but I hope you like this. I hope you appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share, and follow, and I'll see you soon.